all. Now we are going to see the detailed discussion about specimen collection and direct deduction. So what are all the learning object the student should know? At the end of the session, the students will be able to understand about the specimen collection and direct deduction. In direct deduction, mainly staining techniques. So first we are going to see details about specimen collection. What are all the types of infection and various specimens collected. First specimen is bloodstream infection, sepsis and endocarditis. In that, what are all the possible specimen? The paired blood culture specimen collected aseptically by two-step disinfectant of the skin. The first with alcohol followed by chlorhexidine, and the 8 to 10 ml of blood should be collected in blood culture water. The next types of infection is infectious disease requiring serology, mainly what are all the specimen blood collected by minimal asepsis and skin disinfectant with alcohol collected with vacutinate. And the third types of infection is diarrheal disease. What specimen is preferable means stool specimen and rectal swab. And the third types of next type of infection is meningitis. Specimen is cerebrospinal fluid. For infections of other sterile body fluid, what and all the possible specimen we are collecting? Sterile body fluids, example, pleural fluid, synovial fluid and peritoneal fluid. Skin and soft tissue, pus or exudates, wound swab, aspirates from abscess and tissue bits. Anaerobic culture, aspirates, tissue specimen, blood and sterile body fluids, bone marrow, and upper respiratory tract infection, throat swab with member over the tonsils, nasopharyngeal swabs and paranasal swabs. For lower respiratory tract infection, sputum, endotracheal aspirators, bronchoalveolar lavage and protected specimen brush and lung biopsy. For pulmonary tuberculosis, sputum, early morning sputum sample is preferable. And for urinary tract infection, midstream urine is preferable. So before collecting urine, should instruct the patient to clean the genital parts, and then midstream urine is preferable. The first portion of the urine should be voided out and the mid part of the urine is preferable. And another specimens for urinary tract infections are suprapubic aspirated urine, catheterized. In catheterized patient, the urine specimen should be collected from the catheter tube, not from your uro bag. Okay, suprapubic aspiration mainly we are collecting suprapubic aspiration in children's because we can't instruct the children's to collect the midstream urine. So suprapubic aspiration mainly in children's. And in genital specimens, urethral swab, cervical swab for urethritis and exudate from genital ulcers. In eye infection, conjunctival swab, corneal scraping should be collected. And in ear infection, the swab from outer ear and aspirates from the inner ear. So what are all the general principle you should follow? The following principle should be followed while collecting the specimen. The first thing everybody knows, that is standard precaution, and the specimen should be collected before antibiotic start, and the specimen contamination with normal flora should be avoided, and swabs convenient but considerable fear to the tissue and aspirates and body fluids. Okay, before collecting the specimen, This and all the principles should follow the standard precautions. So next, before antibiotic starts and the contaminations with indigenous flora should be avoided, and the swab should be considerable inferior to the tissue aspirates and the body fluid. And general principle, containers, what containers should be used? The sterile, tightly sealed, leak-proof, wide-mouth container should be used. So the container should be sterile, and after that, taking the sterile container, labeling is very important. Before collecting sample, labeling should be done. So labeling all specimens labeled with name, age, gender, and treating physician and clinical diagnosis. Whenever the sample should be rejected means the specimens contaminated or improperly labeled may be rejected. Okay, if the specimens is contaminated or improperly labeled, that sample should be rejected. And anaerobic culture, proper anaerobic collections containers with media should be used. And specimen transport, most specimen, the transport time should be exudate 2 hours. However, there are some exceptions. Immediate transport, that is less than 15 minutes. What and all the specimen means? Cerebrospinal fluid, body fluids, ocular specimen, tissue specimen, suprapubic aspirations, and bone specimen. The urine added with preservative, that is boric acid, transport within 2 hours. Okay, so here the name is telling if the after collecting sample, if it is getting delay means you should transport the specimen in transport media. Okay, for delicate organisms that will be seen in CSF, body fluids, ocular specimen, tissue specimen, suprapubic aspiration, and bone marrow. So immediate transport should be done with less than 15 minutes. And in urine, you should process a specimen within 2 hours. If it is getting delay means you should add that preservative, that is boric acid, and later refrigerate. And specimen transport, other specimens, stool culture should be transport within 1 hour. If it is getting delay means you should transport the specimen in transport media. For example, Vibrio is a delicate organism. So if you're suggesting that organism means if the process is getting delayed to process, if the specimen is getting delayed to process means you should transport it, transport media. Example for stool culture, Venkatama Ramakrishna medium, Stewart's medium, Carey Blair medium, this and all the transport medium for stool. And for rectal swab, up to 24 hours is acceptable. For anaerobic culture, Robertson cooked meat media broth or any specialized anaerobic transport system should be required. The specimen storage before processing. The most specimen, the storage at room temperature up to 22 to 25 degrees Celsius. There are some expectation that is blood culture. There are some exceptions. Blood cultures that is incubated at 37 degrees Celsius immediately up to recipient. And then sterile body fluids that is immediately plated up of recipient with incubating at 37 degrees Celsius, and corneal scraping should be plated at bedsides. The specimen storage, stool culture should be stored up to 72 hours at 4 degrees Celsius, and urine, the midstream urine and from catheter and lower respiratory tract specimen, gastric biopsy for Helicobacter pylori stored up to 24 hours. Now we are going to see about the direct deduction. Previously we saw the sample collection. what and all the samples. Now direct deduction. Direct deduction, I already told, staining techniques. So the structural details of bacteria cannot be seen under light microscopes due to the lack of contrast. It is necessary to use stain methods to produce color contrast and then thereby increasing the visibility. Before staining, the smears are fixed so they will not be displaced during the staining process. So what purpose we are doing staining means the structural details of bacteria cannot be seen under the light microscope due to the lack of contrast. So it is necessary to use some stain particles, to use some staining methods to produce color contrast and thereby increases the visibility. Before staining, the smears are fixed so they will not be displaced during the staining purpose. So the staining technique, first thing, fixation that protect the internal structures of the cells. It is done by two methods. One is heat fixation, that is a gentle flame heating and air and dry film of bacteria. And methanol fixation, it is used for blood smear. So fixation mainly helps to protect the internal structures of the cell. And common staining technique is a simple stain, that is a basic dye, methylene blue or basic fusions, that is used to provide the color contrast but impacts the same color to all the bacteria in a smear. And negative staining, a drop of bacterial suspension is mixed with dye. Mainly what we will use in negative staining means Indian ink or Nigosin. The background gets stained black, whereas unstained bacterial yeast capsulated stain out in the contrast. So in case of negative staining, so the background will be fully dark and we can see the unstained bacterial capsules or yeast capsules stands out in contrast. In case of simple stain, we are using only one stain, that is any stains we can use, only one dye, that is a basic dye, methylene blue or basic fusion we can use. And coming to impregnation method, the bacterial cells and structures are thickened by impregnations of silver salts on their surface to make them visible. For example, for demonstrations of bacterial flagella and spirochetes. So here the spirochetes are very thinner bacteria. So for that thickening, we are doing that impregnations method. Here the bacterial cells and structures are thickened by impregnations of the silver salts on the surface of it. It will helps to make more visible. For that we are doing this method, impregnation method. And differential staining, two stains are used. One is impart differential colors to different bacteria. So what happened here? The bacterial, based on the cell wall nature of the bacteria, it will take the dye. We are for doing only single procedure only, but based on the nature of the bacterial cell wall, it will take the dye. So the two stains are used here. So that is impact different colors to different bacteria. So it is named as differential staining. The most commonly used differential stains are Gram stain, acid fast staining, it is otherwise called seal staining, and Albert staining. So in Gram stain, it differentiates bacteria into Gram positive and Gram negative groups. In acid fast stain, it differentiates bacteria into acid fast and non-acid fast group. In Albert stain, it differentiates bacteria having metachromatic granules from other bacteria, then do not have them. Okay. So once again, I'm telling. So Gram staining, these three are examples for differential stain. In Gram staining, what we are differentiating between two groups of bacteria, Gram positive and gram negative. In acid fast, we are differentiating bacteria into acid fast and non-acid fast group. Okay, in this, what differentiate we are doing? Acid fast and non-acid fast group. In Albert stain, we are differentiating bacteria having metachromatic granules from one bacteria that do not have them. Others don't have them. So we are differentiating that. So coming to gram staining, it is originally developed by the Hans Christian Gram in 1884. So the gram stain still remains the most widely used test in the diagnostic bacteriology. So here, see the left side, they're giving the right side, they're giving the principle and procedure of the gram staining. See what is the first step? So first step, we are doing 4 steps here. The first, we are using the primary stain, that is crystal violet. The second is a modern, that is Gram's iodine. And the third is a decolorizing agent, that is acetone. And fourth is a counter stain we are using. So here, what is the procedure means? First, we want to take the smear slide. The slide should contain the bacterial smear. The first, you want to add the primary stain crystal violet and wait for 1 minute and rinse in tap water. The second is a modern Gram's iodine, that is also for 1 minute and rinse in water. And the third is a decolorizing agent, acetone. What decolorizing agent we are using? Acetone. So you can wash it immediately. Acetone, rinse it immediately. And the fourth is a counter stain, that is a dilute corbel fusion of safranin for 30 seconds and rinse in water. And finally, add dry the slide and observe under oil emulsion. See what happened. Here itself, you can see the principle. Okay, I told you the gram staining is based on the cell wall nature of the bacteria. It will takes the dye. See, the first they are adding primary dye crystal violet, and second modern, it forms crystal violet iodine complex. Okay, and the third one is decolorizing agent. Here, this third step is very important. Okay, now I will tell you the principle. In case of gram positive organism, what happened? Gram positive organism having thick peptidoglycan layer and absence of lipid layer. In case of gram negative, it having thin peptidoglycan layer and presence of lipid layer. So in case of gram positive, what happened? The primary dye itself tightly bounded to the thick peptidoglycan layer, and so while adding moderate also, it forms very tight bounding. The CBI complex tightly bounded to the peptidoglycan layer. So in third step, it resists decolorization. In case of gram positive organism, it resists decolorization. Decolorization won't occur. So while adding the final dye, that is a last dye, we are adding more dilute corbel fusion. So there is no space to go and occupy. So the gram positive organisms are violet in color. Already the peptidoglycan layers are filled with violet color dye, and in third step also it resists decolorization. And here in gram positive cocci, there is no lipid layers also. In case of gram negative, what will happen? It having thin peptidoglycan layer. So what happened? And the gram negative is also having lipid layer. So same steps, same procedure we are following. The first we are adding crystal violet. So that itself loosely bounded to the peptidoglycan layer, and modern, after adding modern also, it will form crystal violet iodine complex. This also loosely bounded to the peptidoglycan layer. In third step, what happened means decolorization occur. I told you it having lipid layers. In case of gram negative organisms, it having lipid layers. It is an alcoholic substance, acetone or ethyl alcohol we will use. So what happened when it fall into the fat particles, it having lipid layer, no? So there will be a it will dissolve, so decolorization occurs in case of gram negative organisms. So what is a counter dye we are using? Dilute carbon fusion, that is a pink color dye. So finally this dye will occupy the spaces of peptidoglycan layer and you can see pink in color. This is a thing, this is a principle. That's why gram positive cocci appearing violet in color and gram negative bacilli appearing pink in color. One more thing, what is the alternative dye what is the alternative primary dye we can use means, other than crystal violet, methyl violet we can use. In case of acetone decolorization, we can use 95% ethyl alcohol. In case of counter stain, we can use safranin is a alternative dye. So generally dilute carbon fusion we are using, safranin is an alternative dye. So this is an interpretation of gram staining. The gram positive bacteria resist decolorization and retains the colors of the primary stain. What I told, the gram positive organism resist decolorization and retains the color of the primary stain. Example, violet. In case of gram negative bacteria, so it decolorizations and therefore it takes the counter stain and appears pink in color. So here the picture shows gram positive cocci, in clusters. So here the gram staining demonstrate colored gram positive cocci in clusters and colored gram negative bacilli in scattered arrangement. So this is a mixed slide showing positive in violet color and negative in pink color. Gram negatives are rods. Gram positive cocci or cocci is a round shape, spherical shape, and bacilli are rods. So you can see two colors here in this picture. One is violet color, another one is pink color. The violet color spherical shape is gram positive cocci, and the pink color rod shape is gram negative bacilli. So I told you principle. Once again, I am going to revise the principle of gram staining is a pH theory. It having the cytoplasmic of gram positive bacteria. It is more acidic that can retain the basic dye. Example, crystal violet. In case of gram positive, it having cytoplasms of gram positive bacteria having more acidic, so it can retain the basic dye. Example, crystal violet for longer time. And iodine serves as a moderant that combines with the primary stains to form diiodine complex that I told you, no, CVI complex to retain the to retain inside the cell. So cell wall theory, I told you, in case of gram positive cell wall, it having thick peptidoglycan layer and it acts as an permeability barrier. So as act as a permeability barrier that prevent loss of crystal violet. The alcohol is through the shrink the pores of the thick peptidoglycan layer. So cell wall theory, again the gram negative, previously we saw about gram positive. Here gram negative cell wall, it is more permeable, that follows the outflow of the crystal violet easily, and it having thin peptidoglycan layer in gram negative cell wall is not tightly cross-linked, and presence of lipopolysaccharide layers in the cell wall of gram negative bacteria, it's get disrupted easily by the decolorization. So I told you two things. One is it having thin peptidoglycan layer, and it also having lipid layer. So lipopolysaccharide layers in the cell wall of gram-negative bacteria. It's get disrupted easily by decolorization. So here in third step, decolorization occurs. So it will takes the counter dye, that is dilute carbon fusion. So the gram-negative bacteria appearing pink in color. So the gram-positive cell wall, it is having thick peptidoglycan layer, and it acts as a permeability barrier to lose the crystal violet. So in case of gram-positive, remember it having thick peptidoglycan layer. In case of gram-negative, it having thin peptidoglycan layer. So next thing you know about the modifications of the gram stain. In modification, Globelux and Berman's modification, that is a primary stain. So primary stain, what we are using, crystal violet. Here we are using methyl violet, and counter stain, we are using basic fusion. And what is the alternative? I told safranin. So in Globelux and Berman's modification, the primary stain is methyl violet and the counter stain is basic fusion. In Jensen, what we are using means absolute alcohol as discolorizer and neutral red as a counter stain, useful for the meningococci and gonococci. In brown and brin, mainly we are used for actinomycetes. And uses of gram staining to differentiate between bacteria into gram positive and gram negative. And mainly that is a thing we saw in previous slide itself. It is a differential stain. We are differentiating bacteria into gram positive and gram negative. And we are identifying identification of gram staining from bacterial culture helps in further identifications of bacteria. And it initiates of the empirical treatments with broad spectrum antibiotic that started yearly from the culture report is available. It is a yearly presumptive identification of fastidious organisms like Haemophilus. And gram stains gives a preliminary clue in anaerobic culture, example Clostridium. And gram stain is useful for staining certain fungi such as Candida and Cryptococcus appears gram positive, and it helps in screening the quality of the sputum specimen before processing it for culture. And acid for staining, the next differential staining is acid for staining. Gram staining over, I hope you understood. So next is an acid fast staining. That is also one of the differential stain. It is discovered by Paul Ehrlich, and it is subsequently modified by Zeil and Nielsen. So it is otherwise called Zeil-Nielsen staining. In acid fastness, it is due to the presence of mycolic acid in the cell wall. Acid fastness is due to the presence of mycolic acid in the cell wall. So the smear prepared and heat fixation. Here, in case of acid fast staining, we are finding out the Mycobacterium tuberculosis. So we need what sample? Sputum sample. Previous slide in sample collection, what we saw for pulmonary tuberculosis, we are collecting which sample is preferable means yearly morning sputum sample is preferable. So you want to make the smear in clean slide, and the smear preparation and heat fixation. The smear is 2 into 3 centimeter in size from the yellow purulent portion of the sputum. The smear neither be too thick nor too thin. When placed over a printer matter, the print should be readable through the smear. So the smear is air dried for 15 to 30 minutes and then heat fixed by passing over the flame for 3 to 5 times for 3 to 4 seconds. And procedure of Zeil-Nielsen method, that is a hot method and cold method is there. In hot method, the step 1, the primary state carbon fusion, that is 1% for 5 minutes, and an intermediate heat is done by flaming under the vapor rise. So while heating, the dye should not get boiled and the stain should not get evaporate. So it should be must. So what happened? What is the primary dye we are using? Carbon fusion. So you want to mention here one word, that is strong carbon fusion we are using for 5 minutes. During that time itself, intermittent heating is done by flaming until the vapors rise. So it should not get boiled. Only the vapor should rise. So that is one thing. And coming to second thing, second step, we are adding decolorizing agent. For TV, we are using 25% sulfuric acid, 20 or 25% sulfuric acid for 2 to 4 minutes. And step 3, that is a counter staining. What we are using means 0.1% methylene blue, the slide for 30 seconds. An interpretation, the Mycobacterium tuberculosis appears as long, slender, slightly curved and beaded red color acid-fast bacilli. See the picture, it is long bacilli. Mycobacterium tuberculosis is a long bacilli. See the picture, it is also one of the differential stain I told. See the Mycobacterium tuberculosis are appearing pink in color, and the rest of the non-acid fast cells and all takes the blue color. So pulsars and epithelial cells, you can see blue in color, and acid fast bacilli shows pink color. So how the bacilli looks? It is long, slender, straight or slightly curved and beaded red color acid fast bacilli seen. So the modification of acid fast staining is cold method, that is Quinon's method. It is an intermittent heat is not required. In cold method, intermittent heat is not required. The acid alcohol can be used as a decolorizer alternative. Acid alcohol can be used as a decolorizer alternatively. The malachite green can be used as a counter stain. So in hot method, in hot staining method, what we are doing, we are using the first primary dye is that isn't same. We are using strong carbon fusion, and the decolorizing agent is a 20 to 25% sulfuric acid, and the counter stain is a methylene blue we are using there. So in case of cold method, it is a modification of acid fast. So what we are doing here, intermittent heat is not required, but the primary dye is same, and the decolorizing what alternative we are doing means acid alcohol, and the counter stain what alternative means malachite green we are using. The concentration of sulfuric acid varies depending on the acid fastness of the structures to be demonstrated. So in case of Mycobacterium tuberculosis, we are using 20% sulfuric acid, 20 to 25%. In case of Mycobacterium leprae, we are using 5% sulfuric acid. In case of bacteria, that is Nocardia, that is also an acid fast, for that we are using 1% sulfuric acid. It varies. So same thing what I told, that only given. It is an acid fast organism, structures and percentage of sulfuric acids. It is suitable for staining. So the acid fast organism, the structure, Mycobacterium tuberculosis, the sulfuric acid needed is 25%, and for leprae it's 5%, and for Nocardia 1%, and acid fast parasites such as Cryptosporidium, Cyclosporum, Cytosporia and Microsporidia, we are using 1%, and for bacterial spores, that is also acid fast, using 0.25% to 0.5%. And Albert stain, that is used, it is another differential stain. So we finished gram staining, acid fast staining, and the next differential staining is an Albert stain that is used to demonstrate the metachromatic granules of Corynebacterium diphtheria. So the procedure, we are using the heat fixation. The smear is covered with Albert 1 and then for 5 minutes. So heat fixation stain for 5 minutes, and Albert 2, that is an iodine solution, is added for 1 minute. The slide is washed with water. So the composition of Albert stain includes Albert 1, that is compares to the toluidine blue, malachite green, and the glacial acetic acid, alcohol 95% ethanol, and distilled water. Albert 2 that contain iodine in potassium iodine. And interpretation, the Corynebacterium diphtheriae appears as green colored. It arranged in Chinese letter or uniform patterns with bluish black metachromatic granules at polar end. Differentiates from the diphtheriads, do not show granules and arranged in the palisade pattern. So what are the other methods of direct direction? So what and all the thing we finished means we saw specimen collection. In direct detection, we saw staining techniques. In staining techniques, basic staining, negative staining, and then in differential staining, we saw 3 staining. Okay, example for differential staining is Gram staining, acid fast staining, and Albert staining. And what are all the other methods of direct detection? That is antigen detection. The various immunological methods such as latex agglutination test, immunochromatographic test are available which detected antigen in the clinical specimen. Example, the detections of capsular antigens of pneumococci, meningococci, Haemophilus influenza in CSF specimen. And molecular detection, the bacterial DNA or RNA can be directly detected in the clinical specimen by various molecular methods such as polymerase chain reaction. So I hope you understood the specimen collection and the direct detection. So thank you.